Right now, the second largest country in the world is facing a serious collapse.
The skyrocketing cost of living.
I was skipping meals because I was struggling to afford my food and my rent.
2 million Canadians had to use the food bank in 1 month alone.
If that sounds uncomfortable or even frightening, it should, because this is the current reality of Canada. And honestly, there's a strong chance this situation will continue for the next few years. Something unusual has been happening over the past couple of years. A growing number of people are leaving the country. Many who once dreamed of building a future here are now saying things like, "My life turned into a nightmare," or "I don't see my future in Canada anymore."
I don't understand anymore.
Because I'm not enjoying it here. How the hell is anyone existing in Canada? I feel trapped.
Thousands are packing up and walking away. People openly admit they are no longer enjoying life here, and many feel trapped. Inflation has broken a 40-year record. On top of that, just in the month of July alone, nearly 7,000 people lost their jobs. Drugs are being sold openly on Canadian streets. Violence and crime have reached their highest levels in the past 30 years, with a sharp rise especially in the last 2 years. Renting or buying a home has become impossible for nearly 70% of the population. Over the last decade, the number of homeless people in Canada, those with no place to live at all, has almost doubled. This is the same country that was once ranked as the second best in the world, a country people from our region wait in long lines to immigrate to. So how did Canada end up here? The answer lies in 4 major reasons that we are going to break down in this video. Watch carefully until the end. Canada sits directly above the United States and is the second largest country on Earth by land area. It has the Pacific Ocean to the west, the Atlantic Ocean to the east, and the Arctic Ocean to the north. The Canada-US border is the longest international border in the world. Interestingly, nearly 80% of Canada's population lives within 100 miles of this border. In fact, about half of all Canadians live south of this line. One province alone, Ontario, contributes around 40% of the country's GDP. A major reason for this population pattern is Canada's extreme climate. Winters are harsh, especially in the northern regions, where vast areas are covered in ice, lakes, and rivers. Nearly half of the world's freshwater lakes are located in Canada. Canada is also extremely rich in natural resources. It has the 4th largest oil reserves in the world, along with massive deposits of potassium, coal, geothermal energy, and natural gas. Because of its vast water reserves, about 60% of Canada's electricity comes from hydroelectric power, making it the second largest producer of hydroelectric energy globally. Canada's main industries include real estate, mining, and manufacturing, which are concentrated in certain provinces. That is why most of the population lives in these regions. Despite all these advantages, Canada's overall trajectory has been declining rapidly over the past few years. In 2021, only 45% of immigrants became Canadian citizens. These were people who had arrived 10 years earlier, in 2011. Compare this to 2001, when 75% of immigrants eventually became citizens. This clearly shows that many newcomers today do not plan to stay in Canada long-term. According to a recent survey, nearly 20% of immigrants who arrived after 2018 are already considering leaving Canada. This is deeply concerning, because when immigrants stop seeing a future in a country or lose interest in citizenship, it signals a serious structural problem. The first and biggest reason behind this crisis is the cost of living. Housing prices in Canada have nearly doubled since 2008. According to a well-known Canadian blogger, a 1-bedroom apartment in Waterloo that rented for $900 per month in 2017 now costs over $2,000 per month in 2023. That is an increase of more than 100% in just 6 years. Mortgage costs have followed the same pattern. A monthly mortgage payment that was once around $100 is now close to $500. In major cities like Toronto, Vancouver, and Waterloo, even a small 1-bedroom apartment rents for around $2,000 a month. Buying one often means a mortgage of $500 per month or more. Meanwhile, the average monthly salary in Canada ranges roughly between $4,400 and $6,000 before taxes. After taxes, high living expenses, food, transportation, insurance, and heating costs, there is very little left. and that higher salary range usually applies only to white-collar jobs. Canada's average annual salary is around $60,000. After taxes, that drops to about $50,000. If you live in a major city, your annual rent alone can easily reach $20,000 to $25,000. Add food, car insurance, medical expenses, and winter clothing, and saving for a home becomes nearly impossible. As a result, 63% of Canadians do not own a home, and many have completely given up on the idea of ever buying one. For most people, it would take 10 to 15 years just to save enough for an average home. Rising housing costs are the first major reason life in Canada has become so difficult, especially for those who arrived after 2019. The second reason is a slow and weakening job market. Canada relies heavily on natural resources, so most investment flows into mining, manufacturing, and real estate. About 17% of Canada's GDP comes from natural resources, and most of its exports are resource-based. The housing boom has pulled money away from industries and into real estate because investors see faster profits there. But when industries do not grow, new jobs are not created. Canada's two biggest export industries, oil and automobile manufacturing, are both declining. Most Canadian oil comes from Alberta, and about 70% of it is exported to the United States. However, extracting Canadian oil is more expensive than producing oil domestically in the US. As a result, demand for Canadian oil is falling, revenues are shrinking, and layoffs are increasing. Car manufacturing has also declined steadily since the 2008 recession. In 1999, Canada produced 3 million vehicles. By 2020, production had dropped to just 1.4 million. Many manufacturers have shifted operations to Mexico, where labor costs are significantly lower. Students have been hit the hardest. Many come from India and Pakistan with the hope of studying, working part-time, and eventually securing permanent residency. But conditions have changed drastically. Part-time jobs, especially in cleaning and warehouse labor, are now saturated due to the massive influx of students in recent years. Even skilled sectors like IT, engineering, and finance have become extremely competitive. Canada was heavily impacted by COVID, followed immediately by the Russia-Ukraine war, which triggered a global recession. During this time, millions of immigrants and students arrived from Asia, creating a massive oversupply of labor with too few jobs. Unless someone has a highly specialized skill that very few others possess, finding stable work has become extremely difficult. Between 2021 and 2022, more people entered Canada in a single year than in any year over the previous 2 decades. The third reason Canada has become less desirable is rising violence. Since 2020, reports of armed robbery and murder have increased sharply. Many Canadian news agencies say this level of violent crime has never been seen before. The most alarming trend is unprovoked random attacks. Since COVID, random stabbings and assaults in public spaces have become disturbingly common. In Vancouver alone, around 1,700 such attacks were reported in 2021. Experts point to mental health issues as a major factor. Unemployment, inflation, and strict taxation have placed immense psychological pressure on many people. Unfortunately, many of the victims have been Asian, raising concerns about racism, although the problem is broader than that. Anyone who has lived in Canada for a long time will confirm that crime and violence have increased noticeably. The final issue damaging Canada's reputation is its healthcare system. Canadians once took great pride in it, but since COVID, it has deteriorated severely. Before 2019, it was common to get a same-day doctor appointment. Now, people often wait weeks or even months. The current average wait time ranges from 20 to 27 weeks. That means for many medical issues, patients wait 4 months just to be seen. Emergency cases are prioritized, but routine care, including cancer screenings, has been delayed, increasing the risk of late diagnoses. Overall, Canada is no longer the Canada people once imagined. Things have changed, and in many ways, they have changed for the worse. Whether or not Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is fully responsible is a matter of debate. Opinions vary widely. But one thing is certain, his approval rating is at its lowest point, and the 2025 elections will be extremely challenging for him. Even among Asian communities, opinions are divided. Many Indians and Pakistanis are frustrated by rising costs, lack of white-collar jobs, and declining quality of life. What do you know about Canada's current situation, and how much do you agree with what was discussed in this video? Share your thoughts in the comments below. These are the sources we consulted for this video. We will see you in the next video with another interesting topic. Take care.